Okay, folks.
PCC 101.
So you can
which
call
is
it to
PCC
order
information.
at the time.
And I'm going to wear them consecutively through the years.
Calling the meeting to order
Like a general.
5:02.
5:02 p.m. recorded.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Gibson,
Here.
Trustee Liu,
Here.
Trustee Silver,
Here.
Trustee Wong, Trustee Aragon,
Present.
Trustee Chin Lao, Trustee Kwong.
Here.
And Trustee Chin Lau and Trustee Wong are excused. Any public comment on closed agenda items?
I have no public comment at this time.
Thank you. We will recess to closed session.
All right.
Oh, yes. Government Code. 54957.6, Conference with Labor Negotiators. Government Code, Section 4956.9, Conference with Legal Counsel, existing litigation. Thank you. We'll recess. Reconvening at 6:35. 6:25.
I hate that.
No reports out of closed session. Roll call.
Trustee Gibson,
Here.
Trustee Liu,
Here.
Is that Mark?
Trustee Silver,
Here?
Trustee Wong,
Here.
Trustee Aragon,
Present, yes.
Trustee Chin Lau, Trustee Kwong,
Here.
Student Trustee Derek Shani.
Here.
Thank you. No report out of closed session. Land acknowledgement.
Pasadena City College is a learning community within the indigenous homelands of people who have been known as the Gabrielino Band of Mission Indians of the Shishikwanga Village and Kish Nation. Tonight, we acknowledge the painful history of genocide and forced removal from this land on which we gather. We also honor the legacy of the African diaspora and recognize that the United States as we know it was built on the often fatal expense of forcefully enslaved Black people. We are indebted to their labor and to the labor of many Black and brown bodies that continue to work in the shadows for our collective benefit. PCC and its faculty, staff, and students recognize that we're all simultaneously teachers, learners, and guests on these lands. This acknowledgement is a small part of an ongoing process of working to raise awareness about histories that are too often erased or forgotten, to recognize our place in this history and to affirm our commitment to social justice, systemic change, and anti-racism.
Thank you. We have the Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay, let's stand. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Was that good?
Approval and reordering of agenda items. Yes.
I'll move to approve, but I want to strike item J5, which is a repeat of item H5.
Second.
Thank you.
Trustee Silver has her hand.
Oh, well, we should do that first?
Sure. Student trustee.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
I'd like to move item J1 forward in the agenda.
Forward.
I mean,
Forward to.
I don't know.
In front of combined consent, in front of E1.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
I will say, unless there's something people want to pull, we should get through the combined consent calendar and the personnel
Okay.
items fairly quickly.
Because J1 is right after the
Okay.
consent.
All right. We will leave the agenda as written.
All right. Thank you. Next, we're going to administer the oath of office to the student trustee. The new student trustee, if you'll come up to the podium.
Who's that?
Should I speak?
Raise your right hand. I state your name, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
I, Jesly Vega, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation
that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter.
that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Let's take a photograph.
She gets to sit with us, right?
Yeah.
Yay.
Welcome. Next on the agenda is introductions and recognitions. Anything?
I'm sorry. I wanted to say something, though, really quickly. First off, welcome, welcome, welcome. But to our outgoing trustee, I just want to say it was such a great pleasure working with you. You're such a person of social justice, and I know you're going to continue to do great things at Berkeley. So that's, I'm sorry I didn't get that in earlier, but thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now we can.
Public comment on non-agenda items.
Yes, Mr. Chair, we do have one individual for non-agenda, and it's Jared E. Gigo. Did I say that correctly? If not. Thank you.
Good evening. Hi, my name is Jared Ijigu. I will be in the commencement ceremony on Friday. Thanks to so much support, assistance, understanding, grace upon grace upon grace, real love that the administrators, the faculty, the staff, and students have shown me over the past 2 years that I've been back at PCC. Thank you. Thank you for creating a culture of community. It's truly blessed me. Over the last 8 months, I've been working on a project that I've referred to as the Student Engagement and Ambassador Project, and recently decided to change its name to kintsugi, which is the practice in the Japanese culture of bonding broken flatware and pottery together with gold. I believe that certain elements in our society has tried to break us apart. And I think that this project will help make sure that not only we come together, but that we become more valuable in that. I've met with several administrators, faculty, managers, students over the past 8 months. And I've seen that passion that I just exclaimed. One of the passionate students is Jesus, who is the president-elect, who's going to take over this project that hopefully, if you see value in it, you'll initiate. I'm trying to ensure that it goes forward. I'm transferring to Cal State LA, which is a new chapter and a little scary. But I know that what I was given here will be brought there, and I'll be able to enrich that campus as well. I would like to meet with some of y'all. I will be taking classes over the summer to try to pursue not just my primary major, which is theater, but also 2 degrees in ethnic studies, specifically Pan-African and Latino studies, and hopefully minor in communications as well, so triple major minor. I hope to talk to you soon and pass the torch. Thank you so much. I'll see y'all around.
Go.
Thank you. That concludes non-agenda items.
Thank you. Approved minutes of Board of Trustees regular business meeting, number 31, May 13th, 2026.
So moved.
I'll second.
Thank you. Student trustee.
Student trustee should probably abstain, given
Oh,
that
right.
she was not the student trustee.
Good idea.
Abstain.
Thank you.
You. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Board committees reporting out.
Well, mine will be quicker than I think Trustee Liu's, but the Budget and Audit Committee did meet last week to discuss the item J1, the adoption of the fiscal year tentative budget for 26-27. After the presentation and discussion by the committee voted to recommend to the board unanimously to support the tentative budget. And we'll certainly have a public hearing and discussion on it a little later. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to prove Trustee Wong wrong by making this even shorter. We had a special meeting of the facilities subcommittee, which all of my colleagues were in attendance, and we'll be getting a presentation later during the special meeting portion of the board regarding what we discussed, so I'll hold off for that.
Thank you. The other board committees? Thank you. Combined consent calendar.
Motion to approve items F1 through H13.
Second.
Any discussion? No. Student trustee.
This,
If she
the,
hasn't
vo- this is,
read it.
we're, no, we're getting to the vote. Now, let's just let her know that we're going to the vote. That's why you're calling on her. Yeah.
So it's, yeah, you can either approve or abstain or whatever you want to do for this vote for all of these consent items that have been lumped together.
Aye.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I'll move to approve items I1 through I4.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. First and seconded. Student trustee does not vote on these items. Any discussion?
I just want to say I look forward to our new vice president coming in. I think he's coming in really soon, so for student services. And to those that are leaving us, all the best.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Action items recommended for approval. We will recess.
Not
Is this one? No?
Public
The
hearing?
procedure for public hearing.
We open that up.
We will have a public hearing for adoption of the fiscal year. We will begin a public hearing, giving a public hearing at 6:40. And we are open to receive any comment. And any commenter will have 3 minutes on this public hearing on adoption of the fiscal year tentative budget. Okay, we'll have the hearing is now closed.
Because there was no public
We'll
comment.
have
It's just public comment.
the presentation.
Good evening, Board. My name's Jennifer Clark. I'm the newly appointed Vice President of Business and Administrative Services. I'm very, very excited, my first board presentation. And I'm very excited to bring the FY27, fiscal year 27 tentative budget to you. Before I begin, I really want to acknowledge the whole fiscal team, particularly Dr. Carol Meyer, who jumped in 3 months ago with both feet. The whole fiscal team rallied together. This is a heavy lift, bringing a document like this to the forefront. And again, I just want to acknowledge everybody's hard work and on it. So I also want to remind everybody, the board, the public, that this is something that we do every year. It's a legal requirement by Ed Code. We have to have a document in place by July 1 so that we can continue our operations, our business, paying our salaries, issuing warrants, all of that kind of thing. So this is really a bridge document. It's a temporary document that we have in place while the state finalizes its budget, while we close our books. We haven't even ended the fiscal year yet. There's a lot of work that still has to be done before we can bring to you the final adoption budget. So again, this is a temporary bridge document. It's going to change because it's built on a lot of assumptions. Again, our books aren't even closed yet. So just want to put that little caveat in there. To go to the next slide, sorry. Real quickly, I'm going to run through the governor's May revise, just hit some high points really, really quickly. Then I'm going to get into our tentative budget and just highlight a few next steps that we are going to keep in mind as we move into the adoption process. So in terms of the governor's May revise, Prop 98, I'm not going to cover all the slides. I'm just going to hit the high point, which is really the last point on this slide, that it really, the May revise really emphasizes fiscal stability and reserve protection. There is considerable new money in the budget. That first bullet there, $6.4 billion in the budget, which is a lot, but it's considered one time because nearly just about all of that money is really, it's stock market. It's due to, shall we say, the overexuberance in the tech stocks, AI stocks, and so that's why we're seeing this tremendous increase. But again, we have to be cautious because as soon as something major changes in the stock market, that revenue is going to be grossly impacted, right? And it's a good thing, the state is putting about 72% of that considering one-time $6.4 billion into the rainy day fund, into reserves, which is really great. We like that. In terms of the California community colleges and the governor's May revise, high points are the COLA. And they're doing something different this year. You might have heard the term super COLA. What that is it's actually a statutory COLA, which in January was 2.41%. It's increased a little bit in the May revise to 2.91%. That's the statutory piece. But it has this additional 1.4% discretionary COLA on top of it, which they've attached strings to. So when I say strings, it means we're going to give you that, but you have to do something. And what we have to do is basically comply with Prop 65, which is providing the 14-week pregnancy disability leave for all of our employees, any employees that may need it. So that is why it's being attached to the student-centered funding formula and our rates. The other piece is on enrollment growth, which may not apply to PCC in this next year because we still have some restoration authority with our FTS. We hope to get there. As soon as we get there, growth will certainly be an issue for us. It will be an issue certainly in the out budget year, so not budget year fiscal 27, but it will be an issue absolutely for us in fiscal 28. You can see normally speaking, it's only 0.5% where they fund growth, which I'll explain a little bit more in one of the following slides. In terms of enrollment, we're estimating, this is an old number, I think it's higher now because we're registering for summer semester, but our resident and non-resident, we're about 23. This was a couple of weeks ago, this is where we were, which is good again, but it's still in motion, we're still registering. I did want to note that the increase from fiscal 25 to fiscal 26, that 1 year, we're in fiscal 26 now, we did have a growth of about 2%. Dual enrollment, you can see it was crazy. Great job, everybody on the dual enrollment front, 49%, which is fantastic. And summer shift, some of you may or may not be aware of it, but it's a mechanism that all community colleges have available to them for the summer semester. So if a class it begins in one fiscal year, like in June, and it ends in another fiscal year, say July or August, the district has the ability to either recognize those FTESs in fiscal 26, say, or in fiscal 27. So districts routinely will do an analysis. They'll run all kinds of different scenarios to see which is how many FTS do we want to recognize in one fiscal year or another to basically maximize our fiscal position going into the new year. So we are absolutely going to be doing this, particularly as we know we have one more year for that restoration authority. So that is coming. And then a modest future years assumption is also in there for enrollment. I did want to just highlight a couple of items on this particular slide. This basically compares our funded FTES, which is the gray bar, to the operational FTES, which is the burgundy bar. And you can see over the years, starting in 1920, that was when COVID hit. That was our high point in the last few years in terms of our FTS at almost 24,000. And you can see, look at that difference, those gray and those burgundy bars. Well, we know when COVID hit, enrollment took a hit. A lot of students dropped out, people stayed home. And so you can see we were funded at a much higher level than the burgundy bar, than the students that were actually attending classes. And that is something called the emergency conditions that the state came in right away and said, okay, we want to make you whole. We know you're losing FTES, but we recognize you can't suddenly lay half of your college off because your enrollment is crashing. So we will hold you harmless and keep your funded FTES at the same level until we get through this pandemic. So that was across the state, we saw that, which was great. But then in 23-24, the state said, okay, the pandemic is over. Now we're going to start to recognize the students that you actually have brought back and are attending classes in your colleges. So you'll see there the burgundy and the gray bars start getting closer and closer. You'll see in 24-25, we've noted the Eaton fire. You'll see that kind of slowed down where the burgundy bars, or the burgundy bar movement, right? There was a little bit less. It slowed things down for us. And we still wonder what kind of long-term impact is that going to have on our enrollment, on the community. So it's just something as we move forward and we plan, we have to be very cautious, prudent, and cognizant of those long-term impacts of the fire. Both good and bad. There's positives to it as well in terms of our programs and CTE, and I can get into that later. But due to that three-year rolling average, which is how we're funded, that three-year average mechanism, beginning in, you can see in fiscal 25, 26, you can see that burgundy bar is actually outpacing the gray bar. And that's just the way that, again, with that three-year average, that's just how it calculates out. So again, just something for us to be cognizant of. Yes, sir.
Dr. Clark, thank you. One question that I thought of after we saw this in Budget Committee is that the funded FTEs, that obviously slower growth because of the SCIF's three-year rolling average, does that, this projection accounts for if we don't hit that number of our peak, or does it? So what I'm saying is like the funded FTS, because my understanding is like if we do hit that number, that where we can exit the Restoration Authority, or we complete this three-year Restoration Authority cycle, would that gray bar go higher, or is it still based on that three-year rolling average no matter what?
Still going to be based on that three-year rolling average no matter what.
Okay, thank you.
Right? It really will, as soon as we get that, as soon as we capture as much of that Restoration Authority as we can over this next year, that is going to re-bench us.
Yeah.
Wherever we land, that's going to be the point from which, moving forward, they'll only fund us on 0.5%, unless they change something. But normally speaking, it's a maximum of 0.5% on average across the state.
Thank you.
Good question. Thank you. Real quick, budget assumptions. We've got lots of them. I mentioned the COLA. These are the big ones. Of course, we've got negotiated salary increases in there. You can see the increase in health benefits, property and liability insurance. We've got the PARS payout. We had a lot of people take the early retirement incentive, right? This is a little bit of an eye bleeder. Sorry. But this is a really high-level summary of our unrestricted general fund budget. You can see a revenue is, we got modest growth on the revenue line, that total revenue. Let me orient you a little bit because it is kind of small. The first column of numbers is last year's actuals, FY25. The middle column is this year's pretty much adjusted budget. It's where we expect to land. These are our forecast. And then the final column is FY27. A lot of the FY27, of course, is based on our forecast, along with the assumptions that I mentioned. I'll go through this kind of quickly. On the 1000s, which is the faculty, all of the faculty salaries, you see a little bit of shuffling around because we've had a lot of full-time faculty, considerable amounts retire. So the adjunct faculty is going to increase a little bit because they're filling in, right? Filling in those gaps. Same thing is happening on the classified side with retirements. Hourly, temporary employees might come in a little bit higher to backfill those vacancies. You can see on the benefits line, if you go down all those 3,000s, I'm kind of in the middle of the chart there. Employee benefits, overall increase is not quite, it averages to between 5 and 6%. But you'll note, just wanted to point out it says 39 right above the total for employee benefits, that PARS payment. You can see what the PARS payment was this year and what it's going to be next year, right? Something I mentioned before. So supplies, not too much of an increase there, not a whole lot going on. The 5,000s, software and services, I've seen statewide. I just want to call out IT and our Chief Technology Officer, TJ, and the work that he and his department have been doing over the last 2 years, really tremendous. IT costs for hardware, software in particular, those licenses are going up astronomically. You'll see there that our budget is kind of flat. They've been doing tremendous work over the last 2 years, consolidating the software that we have, the licenses that we have, really helping us to become much more efficient and cost effective. So I just wanted to call out TJ and that great work his department's been doing. It deserves it. It's very deserving. The capital expenditures on the 6th line, pretty flat. I want to just point out other outgo or other expenses on the 7,000, the 7 line, sorry, it's the 7,000 accounts. You'll see it was almost 14,000 in fiscal '25, about 7 this year is what we're expecting. Next year, we've got a little higher, almost 12 million. This, we have a lot of flexibility here, right? So what we're doing is we're transferring money from our unrestricted general fund and we're paying ourselves. We're transferring it into one of our proprietary funds. So it's going to be the property and liability fund, it's going to be workers' compensation, it might be other post-employment benefits. There are a lot of those, a lot of funds that that have a balance, and depending upon how much what the costs are in those funds, we need to backfill that more or less, but we have flexibility, right? We do have flexibility there. So this is a very, very conservative, this is fully funding it at 11.7 million. We may not at all need to do that, but again, this is a very, very conservative first go at this budget. Then the last thing, if you had questions under reserve, we did have the $4 or $4.5 million. It was coming out from the bottom, there from reserves. We have that as just a legal settlement that we're aware of. And again, depending upon how things land, what balances we have, we may have other sources where we can pay for that legal settlement, but again, this is a very, very, very conservative budget, assuming that everything that we have encumbered, we're going to spend and we're not going to have anything carried forward, right? So this is even worse of an eye bleeder. My apologies. So really quickly, these are all of our funds all in one place. And I know you need a magnifying glass. I am not going to read any of the numbers. You don't need to see the numbers. They're yeah. The first column is the unrestricted general fund, which I just went over. The second column is the restricted. And the restricted accounts are sort of the categoricals, the grants, you might, EOPS, CalWorks, Strong Workforce, all of those are our Title V grants, all of those are our restricted funds. Moving over a couple of columns, you have debt services, it says 20, right? That is basically a fund for the repayment of long-term debt. We're going to have a presentation here in a few minutes about refinancing and refunding bonds. This is basically that account at the county that basically is that clearinghouse for that, for doing that. The next column is child development. And child development funds are basically funds for the operation of child care and development services, right? And we have a child care center. The next column is for capital outlay. That fund is for the financing. It's for resources used in the acquisition and or construction of major capital outlay programs. We might have revenue from like scheduled maintenance, RDA money. We might have our GeoBond money in here, and this is the fund that we spend, that we use to expend our capital projects. The next fund over is the bookstore. I think that's fairly self-explanatory. The next column is the Internal Services Fund, which I mentioned a minute ago, workers' compensation, property liability, et cetera, et cetera. There we have several of them. The next column over, I don't know that you often see this, but this is our student trust and agency funds. So these are fiduciary funds. These are funds that the district holds. They're assets that they hold on behalf of another body. And in this case, it's the students. So these are the students' funds. These are the AS funds. These are the club funds, all of the funds associated with students. The next column is the financial aid fund, which is used to account for the receipt and disbursement of all monies received from either federal or state agencies in support of student financial aid programs. And then finally, we have the OPEB, GASB 75 Trust, which is used, it is a trust, and it can only be used for other post-employment benefits. We have retirees that have, maybe lifetime benefits. It is a liability that the district, many districts across the state and probably the country carry on their books, and this is the best mechanism for accounting for that liability. And I will say, I have one more slide. Next steps, these are the big ideas. Not the big ideas yet. This is the next steps. Just a reminder of the calendar, where we are. We are in June at the tentative, and I will return back in September with the adoption budget. Finally, this is what I was thinking was the slide before this. Fiscal stability. These are just the items, the big ideas that as we develop the adoption budget and multi-year projections moving forward, these are the things that we're going to be big ideas, big goals that we're going to be trying to hit as we do that. So I will pause for questions if there are any, and I'm going to invite Dr. Mayer up here as well, just in case you ask me a really, really tough one. I need my expert.
I'll just begin by saying thank you, actually to both of you, for the preparation of this budget. And I think the way you've laid it out on both of these small text slides are actually really logical in terms of laying it out by the different fund thousands, sections, accounts
Major.
is the word I was looking for.
Yes.
So that's really helpful to look at, and the distribution of where we are going based on the work of last year and this year. So I just want to say thank you for all of that. And I know that probably in the next couple of days, we'll actually know what the state's doing. So that's why this is a tentative conversation. But I just want to say thank you for the work, and I look forward to the final official budget conversation in September.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Yeah. Hi, I want to step through the presentation that you made, and we'll just start with the governor's May revise page. Yes. Oh, there it is. I just want to clarify, Proposition 98 guarantee increases by 6.4 billion, but does the 4.6 directed to the rainy day fund come out of it?
Yes.
So the net guarantee increases by 1.8 billion,
Correct.
actually. Okay. Okay. And the next page on, you just got here, I get that, but on that COLA increase, the 2.4% is the January figure, and then you jumped to a 4.31%, embedding the May revise of 2.91. So
Yeah.
if in future you would just always be super clear
Sure.
what makes that up. And so, like I mentioned, that if we can get estimates of costs, it's actually AB 65, Assembly Bill 65, not a proposition.
Oh, thank you.
Prop 65 is,
Thank you.
carcinogens, things. But try to provide the board with numbers. So a percentage is good, but what I would love to offer the maternity leave, but if we just need to have some kind of estimate of what it will cost us should we take that burden, that benefit on. So try to do that. Then looking at enrollment growth percent funded, so your enrollment growth projections are 2% a year, but we're being rebenched next year, correct?
We will be rebenched at the end of 27, going into 28.
June 30, 27, which
Going into
is
fiscal 28.
fiscal year starting in 3 weeks, right? June.
No, so we'll be rebenched, it's over a year from now.
What? Sorry.
So we have one more year, so beginning July 1, 2026.
Yes.
To June 30th, 2027.
Uh-huh.
We're still restoring. We're still grabbing as much restoration authority as we can,
Okay.
okay? And then moving forward, we'll see how much growth. Again, usually they fund us at 0.5%.
So, but what happens at the end of, I have to do both years together, I haven't had, so at the end of 26, 27, we have a number, we're hopeful it's 23,170, is that six? At the end of.
Right.
That would be the, yeah. So then does that become our new floor?
It would if it would if that's where we end, if that's where we land. And I think I know where you're going. Yeah.
So if we land above, so what are other scenarios if we are above or below the,
So if we're above, we can grow as big as we choose to, right? But what we get funded on, there's a limit to what we get funded on,
right?
right? So if we are funded, if we drop, if our FTS drops, that's goes without saying.
Right.
But did I answer your question?
No, I'm so sorry, a little murky, that if we grow 2% in fiscal year 26, 27,
Hopefully, we'll grow more than 2%.
okay, but if we grow 2%, we are funded for the full 2%?
Yes.
Then what happens from that year and into the future?
So we would only be funded at 0.5 to 1, depending upon what the state determines.
Okay.
So yeah, this is looking at 2%, and we wouldn't be funded at 2% with all things being equal.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if we were to actually grow more, we might be losing money with higher.
We wouldn't lose money, no, because there are also other sources that we would, because we'd have those students. So we wouldn't be funded via the student-centered funding formula. There are many other sources that we would be funded for, right? There are other sources. There's lots of restricted money. There's other money out there that we would be funded on. What this is referring to only is the student-centered funding formula and the unrestricted.
So we would access these funds, like, how? We would go to the state and say, you're funding 0.5%, but we've grown 2%. Can you fill in the 1.5% we're missing?
They wouldn't pay us.
They wouldn't?
They would pay us, they wouldn't pay us on the FTS portion, but they would pay us on the student, the achievement, the 10%, and the other portions.
Success metrics.
The success metrics and the
30%.
The 20% and the 10%.
Pell and the, yeah.
Right, right.
Achievement and.
Thank you. Achievement and the other one's escaping me, but we would be paid on those.
Equity.
The equity metrics, yes.
Okay.
So the calculation is complicated because it's not just solely based on FTS. It's also based on achievement. It's also based on how many students we have that are achieving that are in that 20% calculation where they are eligible for Pell. They're eligible for, the
But it's
former
quite a
bog fee
bit
waiver.
less than a fully funded student.
Is somewhat less, but if it's a student that falls into that 20% that's eligible for Pell or whatever, actually, we're paid well.
Okay. Then I just had a question on the dual enrollment. The dual enrollment growth, 49% from what base?
From fiscal 25, right, to fiscal 26.
How many students?
It's a little over 1,000 this year.
She's saying a little over 1,000.
So we had
This
about
year.
500 last year.
Does that sound about right?
No, we had about 700.
Yeah.
So about 1,000 dual enrollment. So just for me. I don't know if other board members, again, if you can provide numbers with percentages, both, because it just lets us know better what we're talking about. So we have about 1,000 FTES from dual enrollment?
Yeah, it's a little over 1,000 this year. It was about 700 and change in '25. So whatever 50% of 700 is, to get you to 1,000 is about the right number.
Is that students or FTES?
FTS.
Okay, great. Good job. All right, okay. So, okay. Then,
Can I just, I think there's one point that may have been missed. The 2% is an assumption. It's a very conservative assumption, because when we're preparing a tentative budget, we want to be as conservative as possible. That is not our goal. That is not where we hope to be, especially not in this coming year because of what the stakes are.
Yep.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
actually, I am confused about the stakes. So this is a push. I get that, but I just need to hear that one more time. We're pushing, we always try really hard for enrollment, but this year is particularly significant because,
The rebenching.
okay.
Do you mind if I just, I think the slight confusion is, and I think we're looking at an enrollment trend slide in the context of budgeting, not in the context of what our plans are as an institution to hit certain numbers. And so, as Dr. Gomez just mentioned, I think what Dr. Clark has been talking about is that this estimated growth for this assumption base of 2% growth was looking at the growth that we had in the last year. And using that as an assumption, they have been, her and Dr. Clark have been able to prepare a budget conservatively to look at what our expenses and revenue and expenses will be for this coming fiscal year. That is connected but separate from the conversation about rebenching, which is we actually want to be higher than what the assumption is for this coming year, but that is a separate conversation from preparing an actual budget based on what we are looking at trends-wise. And so in terms of the coming fiscal year that we are approving this budget for, the reason why rebenching is so important is because we're at the end of the 3-year, what's the word again? I'm sorry, the phrase that authority?
The Restoration Authority.
And so using the benchmark of this coming year, that is what we will be essentially based upon for the years following. And so I think that was confusing for me a little bit too, but the fact that it is two slightly separate but connected pieces, because preparing the budget of having conservative assumptions versus the separate conversation we have about needing to push for more FTES in order to hit the rebenching goals that we want to be at. Is that?
That was
Yeah,
very
but
well said.
Unfortunately, I disagree because I think that our enrollment is foundational to our budget. So everything, it is what the school does, so that
Right.
our enrollment is everything. It is what drives the budget.
No, that's exactly what I'm saying,
Yeah.
is that's why we're looking at the numbers as such, because we wouldn't be looking at enrollment in this way in the conversation of budget if it wasn't central to the budget itself. So
Is central.
And
We can
that's why
agree.
we're looking.
Yes.
That's why we're looking at this.
That's
and
right.
this projection is what the team then based the recommended budget numbers off of. So it's
Yes.
not purely. It's not just the SCIF primary funding, but it is largely based on what our expectations of what we can assume based on the current moment of what we're going to be paying for.
Yes,
this
very
coming year.
safely assume, yes.
Very safe. So it is completely enrollment driven, quite frankly, for the most part.
Okay, so then on the next page, the tentative budget page, again, you're new, so it's, a bit of grace for you, but this is an institution of nearly $250 million, and a one-page tentative budget feels very obscure and murky. As trustees, we deserve to have full and complete transparency and information budget people I know love to talk numbers, and all they want to do is give you more numbers and more numbers, and this was very disappointing. This board is accustomed to a very complete 11-page summary budget, which lists funds, breaks them out so you can see what you're doing, and then we also get a large 100-plus page full budget
At the adoption,
at
yes,
adoption.
which
But
you will
in
have.
the interim, we have customarily gotten a very complete breakdown. So for example, I've been tracking the adjunct budget item. That line item is Fund 1320. And we budgeted $28 million for this year. And for quarter one and quarter two, I got a complete financial budget with those figures broken down per quarter. I asked for something similar for quarter three and instead got a one-sheet budget, which I cannot pull apart the adjunct faculty number to match it to what I'm reading in Fund 1320. So if $28 million was our adopted budget for this year, on your line 13, adjunct faculty, we are at $27,588,000 at the end of third quarter. So we're basically at the full year, and yet we still have the fourth quarter. And then your forecast is $41 million. And the forecast versus budget is nearly $8 million over budget. So that concerns me. Fiduciary responsibility is what this board does. We must have full and complete numbers that are clear. And this one-page third quarter is not. This one-page tentative budget is not sufficient for this board. We're accustomed to much more detail. So what I would like as soon as possible is to get a third quarter report that matches what we have gotten for the past 2 quarters so that I can compare like with like, especially in the area of adjunct. I'm keeping my eyes on adjunct hourly because I'm extremely concerned if we're projecting an $8 million overage in that one category. And in addition, what I'd like is a variance percentage. So I understand that spending and that income and outgo are seasonal. I understand that. So what we need is, over the years, as these budgets have been crafted, you're pulling in the flow of expenses and income and revenue month by month, so that there are benchmarks that you can go back to. So I now would like, in addition to the actual numbers that we are, a percent variance for these, and by quarter, so not, but by quarter. So so this is something. I also don't understand that on this one-pager of a tentative budget, you have the faculty in this year forecast at 43 million and next year at 42 million.
Right.
And yet 36 people took the SERP, which conservatively should be a savings of around $5.5 million. And we don't see that. We see a small savings. So I'm wondering, we see a $1.4 million savings. I'm wondering where are the rest of our savings by offering this SERP to our faculty that was supposed to fall into our bottom line and in our salaries. What happened?
Well,
Trust-
so I can speak broadly. But, so, first of all, some of those faculty are going to be replaced, full-time faculty, because they are essential faculty in key areas where it's very difficult to hire part-time faculty. Because the people who retired are going to be at the top of the salary scale and the replacements are coming in lower on the salary scale, there's some savings there. A second area is that we have, again, we like to rely on adjuncts, but there's a lot of areas where it's very difficult to find adjuncts, and so we have also used this as an opportunity where we've had vacancies to upgrade some of our adjuncts to take on more shifts, and that's also made them full-time. So you can see that even though temporary full-time. So you can see that even though the savings are modest, the reality is that the fundamental thing that we do is teaching and counseling and providing books to our students, which is ultimately how our students are successful. And so we have to do that on full-time faculty, and we have to replace folks. So that's why the savings aren't as dramatic as we would have, you know, it's not going to be a one-to-one, let's replace a full-time faculty with 5 adjuncts. That's not there's some of that in key areas where there isn't a lot of growth, but not in high-growth areas.
But it's certainly something, you know, between now and adoption. I mean, I know myself, I'm going to be digging in and looking at, I've only been here a month. I'm going to be
I
looking at a
know.
lot of detail, right? So,
It's just, we spent a lot of money, offering that CERP. And the thought was the savings were going to be significant. So I don't know if $1.4 million is
Well, it's faculty, it's administrators, it's classified, and it's all of the benefits going through. So the savings, the net savings on the CERP was probably much higher than just that 1.4 million on that one line.
all right. And then on classified salaries, I'm just curious, how is it that we have a reduction of $1.5 million
Yep.
in salaries for our classified?
Yeah, because same thing, because many of them took the CERP or took the early retirement. And so we're learning how to manage with some of those folks running a little bit leaner, but then there is some offset with the professional experts and a little overtime. So same.
You know what would help? Can we
Yeah.
get I'd like the data of how much we paid for our CERP to our faculty and how much we paid for the CERP to classified.
Yeah.
May we have that, please?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And remember, it also flows through the benefits as well.
Right.
So, because the benefit structure is different. So when people retire, they're at the top of the pay scale. Anything that's percentage-driven will be higher. They come in a little, newer people are coming in a little lower. Anything that's percentage-driven is a little lower. If we cover people through adjunct faculty or through part-timers, they have a different benefit structure, so that's also a savings.
Okay,
So
yeah.
I
So
do-
if we could
so,
just,
Yeah, we actually paid about 1.5 million, I think, on the PARs. And I think that you can see even just with the salaries
that's 1.5 million is forecast for next year.
that is what we basically we'll be paying.
We only
towards the
paid
PARs.
430 this year.
430 this year, it'll be 1.5 next year, and you can see that we've already paid for that 1.5 just with the faculty and the classified, just the salaries piece, not even the benefits piece. So I feel pretty good about that. It was ultimately a very good decision for the district to make, even though I wasn't here.
Trustee
But I voted
Wong?
for it.
Thank you. I think I have my own thought, but one thought that I did have about the CERP as we were discussing that was that this is talking about savings over time. We're not just looking at one year. It was a projection, the numbers they were given, that looking at the forecast was given over time, and you're right, it did include things like benefits. It was not just a pure salary number. So that's just on the CERP piece. I think that it's important for us to remember, I think broadly speaking, that the tentative budget is to hold us over to be able to spend money at all going into the next fiscal year, given the nature of how our state budget is functions, right? Even though there's a deadline in the state constitution for them to pass it by June 15 and for the governor to sign it by the end of June, that doesn't mean that there isn't going to be, as we know, there's a bunch of trailer bills and other things that really help define and shape the state budget that lead into then, as we have discussed many times, September, when we do look at the full scope of things. So for me, I appreciate what this tentative budget is doing, and I have personally found this helpful in the way it's laid out. Actually, I'm looking at the budget, especially in some of these slides, in a way that I had not looked at before in terms of the like-to-like comparison between the years on certain account lines that I might not have been able to see. So I think that for the virtue of us being able to move into the next fiscal year and make sure everybody's paid and that we can continue to keep the lights on, I think the tentative budget it does that job. So I think, and this is separate from what Trustee Silver is asking. I respect Trustee Silver's. If she would like to see more information, she is well within her rights to ask to do so. But I'm just going to speak for myself on this item. I think that this is what I would have needed. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
And in that vein, I want to make a motion to approve the tentative budget.
I just have one more thing. Sorry, just.
Sorry, there was a motion. So if I can get a second, then we go for discussion.
I'll second, and then we can discuss.
Okay.
Yes. John.
Okay. So just, I cannot get the possible $8 million above budget for adjunct faculty out of my mind. I'm so worried about the fiscal health of this college, and I just wanted to put it in perspective that if we grow the 2% next year that we're hoping, 455 FTES, that is $2.5 million. So it's no good spending $8 million on additional salary to grow $2.5 million. So just remember, every FTES, 5650. If it doesn't pencil out, then we need to be really, really cautious.
Yep. Yes.
Okay, I am done. Thank you.
Any other discussion before we vote?
I just have one comment. Well, first of all, welcome to our district, Dr. Clark. It's
Thank
always
you.
good to see you again. I found the presentation very helpful. It's very informative, and it was a good bird's eye landscape view of what we need to do prior to July 1st. So thank you for your time and the effort that the both of you put into this.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion before we vote?
Yes. Just one comment. First, welcome as well.
Thank you.
Came right at a good time. And I know Trustee Wong, Silver, and I sit on the budget subcommittee, so I respect Trustee Silver's asked for a lot of information. I know that's something we can have a more fulsome discussion during the subcommittee meeting as well about.
Yeah, thank you, of course.
Thank you, Dr. Clark. It's your turn.
Great. All right, we'll have the vote. Student trustee,
Aye.
thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Abstain. I abstain.
Okay, one abstention. Thank you.
Okay.
It is 7:25. The board will now recess the regular meeting and reconvene following the conclusion of the special board meeting. Time is 7:26. I will now call the special meeting of the Board of Trustees to order, which was duly noticed on June 9th in accordance with Government Code 54956. The special meeting was called for the purpose of reviewing facility financing options and governing board election. Roll call for special meeting.
Trustee Gibson,
Here.
Trustee Liu,
Here.
Trustee Silver,
Here.
Trustee Wong,
Here.
Trustee Oregon,
Present.
Trustee Chin-Lao, Trustee Huang,
Here.
Student Trustee Vega.
Here.
Thank you. we will begin the special meeting.
Public comment.
Is there a comment?
No public comment.
Thank you.
That would be Richard to come up. Mr. Lorette.
Good evening, trustees.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I am Richard Laird, your Executive Director of Facilities and Construction Services, and I would like to pass the torch also this evening. And as a reminder, we have Hogop Kasabian, who will be your new Executive Director of Facilities and Construction Services starting July 1. So
That's a heck of a way to start.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I want to thank all of you for the opportunity to serve. It's been my pleasure. And with that, we'll get started real quick. As you know, we've had a series of special meetings, and this is just basically a recap before we talk about some of the financing options by our consultants. So this slide here actually represents, to the left, as we discussed, we had approximately $565 million approved in 2022 for the Measure PCC bond. And at that time, we had approximately almost $960 million worth of needs. So that's represented above the teal with the buff-colored bar chart. Since then, we've identified about another $1.6 billion in needs, and this is due to growing programs, the fact that we have a 100-year-old campus, and some other needs with sustainability that are coming to light. As passed on our last special meeting, to the left is the resequenced project list, which this shows that we've moved some projects up, and we've also adjusted some budgets because of where we are in design before execution, and we've balanced that budget out at the 565. You asked us to come back and have a conversation. The next slide represents 3 possible options, and these were projects that we would pick up if we had additional funding at the levels that are provided above. And this slide here, these are cumulative. So if option 1 at $9 per 100,000 is assessed, then we would pick up those projects, which is roughly another $450 million in additional funding to execute projects that we do not currently have funding for. The second slide would be, if that was chosen, it would be the first slide plus the second slide and the third slide also. And so with that, I will ask if there's any questions in that review before we turn it over to our financial advisors.
No questions at all. I just wanted to, in this convening, I know I've said it to you in other convenings, but thank you, Mr. Lorette, for all the work that you've done. I think through the facilities work that we have done as an institution since the beginning of the conversation on Measure PCC, and that you've seen through so much of this work. And I think the community has noticed, right? The community has noticed and have responded to the opening of the new Serafian building to, I get comments more than anything else, even more than the academics questions that I get about the way our mirror pools look, about the way the front of the campus looks, the way the experience people are having physically on this campus, and particularly the one area that I've been just really grateful to work with you on and your team on is the commitment that this board made a couple of years ago to sustainability and finding a path forward for our institution in a way that makes us, quite frankly, a national leader for a community college on these issues, and that has really been under your leadership. So I just wanted to say thank you, and we are very grateful. Well, I'll speak for myself. I'm very grateful for the work that you've done for us. Thank you.
It's been a ride. I thank you for the opportunity, and I would just say is that that is a highlight every time I walk the front of the campus and see how much the students are using that space. I think we did a great job on that one.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll echo everything my colleague said. Thank you so much, Richard. And I'm excited now you get to work on your own home improvement projects instead of our improvement projects. I was just going to make a suggestion too. Maybe I know we have other presenters. I know I certainly have some thoughts and questions, but I'll hold them until after our other presenters also speak on this topic.
Sure. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
Can you go back one slide? Can you explain on the far left for the first column, explain a little bit about the houses/MOD, what that is?
Yes. So the college owns property on Bonnie. Those are residential houses. And those houses have, over the years, required additional work upon them. And so that is just putting funding in to replace roofs, air conditioning units, and take care of
Okay.
deferred maintenance on those houses.
Just deferred maintenance. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, fantastic. So we will turn it over to our next presenters. Thank you.
Good evening, Board of Trustees, Cabinets. Happy to be back here and providing additional information regarding financing options for those facility needs you just saw earlier. My name is Rachel Chen-Kwei with Filma. We represent the district as your financial advisor, and I'm joined by other couple members of our financing team.
Good evening. My name is Trennis Wright. I'm a managing director with Raymond James, and we're the district's placement agent and bond underwriter.
Ann La Morena Rolene. I'm a partner at Norton Rose Fulbright, and I serve as bond counsel to the district.
So with that, we'll dive into the presentation for tonight. You heard about those needed improvements and the additional needs over the years. The most common financing tool that's available to the district is general obligation bonds or GO bonds. In order to issue GO bonds to fund these projects, we do require voter support, and 55% support is the requirement here. So tonight's presentation, we have slides that follow that really go through if we do nothing, not acquiring additional funding, but relying on Measure PCC, what that would look like. And of course, if we were to consider additional bond authorization, at a new tax rate of $20 per 100,000 of assessed valuation, that's the taxable value, not the market value of the individual homes and commercial industrial properties. And then we also look at a lower tax rate at $15. And of course, a tax rate extension at $9. We have more slides on the later parts of the presentation that dive into each of those. And there is a county deadline to qualify for the November 2026 election to place a potential bond on the ballot for voters' consideration. And that deadline will be on August 7th, 2026.
Thank you. So before we dive into the numbers themselves on the potential bond measure, we're going to go through a little background. Okay. So this graph gives you the history of just community college districts, how many went in each election since February of 2008 through November of 2024. We didn't put June. It was the material was produced prior to the last week, and then of course the results aren't final yet anyway. And so, but this is all the way through November of 2024. But as you can see, it's been pretty good, right, overall, since 2008. You have, in community colleges, you have 104 measures over that period. You got 84 of them passing, right, which is right on about 80%, right? Now, as we say in the bullet there, the results are skewed to the negative, at least in my opinion, because you had certain districts that went multiple times that failed multiple times around the state. Some small, tough districts like Yuba County CCD, West Hills, Rancho Santiago's tried a couple times down in Orange County. And just some districts are just tough to pass them in. And they've gone multiple times over that period. So in my mind, it skews the result kind of to the negative. Next, unless there's questions. Next slide, please. Or do we just do that ourselves? We do it ourselves? Okay. So some little more background. So November 2024, there were 15 community colleges that went to the ballot box, and 14 of them passed. Right? The only one, again, being Rancho Santiago didn't pass theirs. Now, in Los Angeles, counting some of your peers, right? There's 5 of your peers that went. All of them passed, right? And some of these were for like Long Beach, right? I do work for them. That was their 3rd one, I believe, and that was a big one, $990 million. Mount SEC, again, big, $750 million, right? So these are your peers that went to the ballot November 24, and they all passed, roughly, except for Rancho, which I know they're going to try again sooner or later. So, no questions? I'll keep moving. So to make it even more personal, we looked at some of the local bond measures that had passed, right? So the top 3 are really more recent, right? So from November of 2024, the most relevant probably being Pasadena Unified, okay? Good size measure, $900 million, right? Passed with 65%. Now, that sounds impressive, but what was even more impressive is they went 4 years prior for $500 million, $516 million. That passed at 63%. So this community is pretty supportive of bond measures, it seems. From an outsider's perspective, it sure seems that way. If there's not any questions, I will go ahead and turn it over to Ms. Chang Kui.
A little more background on this slide. I will not read through all the numbers, but here is a 29-year history of your taxable value within the entire district's boundaries. What we have seen, and a couple of things to highlight here, is that consistent growth that we saw year over year, having that taxable value grow. Why this is important is because general obligation bonds, they're repaid by property taxes. So looking at your AV history help us make educated estimates moving forward. And you see a couple boxes on the slide here. On the left is an example of that resilient growth that we saw even during the last housing downturn, when most K-14 districts in the state saw declines, negative growth. Here at PCC, we did not experience those declines. The other thing is on the lower right-hand side is your net bonding capacity. So as a public agency, the state sets a limitation on how much bonds you can have outstanding. And that is 2.5% of your current assessed valuation. So this calculation is a snapshot in time, right? As assessed valuation gets updated, this number change. As you pay down bonds, as you issue new bonds, this number change. But sitting here for fiscal year 2025-26, your net bonding capacity, taking out any of the GOs you have outstanding, is sitting at right below $3 billion.
And Rachel, sorry to interrupt you really
Yes.
quickly. Go back one slide if you don't mind.
Will
Just to
do.
clarify a little bit, that outstanding does not yet account for the series that we have not gone out for Measure PCC.
That is correct.
Okay.
Is
Thank
what
you.
is currently outstanding.
Thank you.
My pleasure. And next slide here is Measure P. Quick background, Measure P was approved by the voters back in March 2002. The combined tax rate for Measure P, they're structured to stay under $9 per 100,000 of assessed value after this 2026 refinancing that the board previously approved, that's currently in process to be completed. And as you can see on the chart here, Measure P's final payoff will take place in 2028. And this is what allows for a tax rate extension opportunity. And we'll have charts to show you how additional bonds, if the board decides to pursue this option, can look like in order to provide more facilities funding opportunities. And of course, looking at our first option, if there's no additional funding, what PCC's facility needs versus the $565 million you have available under Measure PCC. You saw from the facilities presentation earlier, really, we're looking at roughly $1 billion of unfunded facility needs. And this is why we're looking at these options that potentially can deliver additional funding for the district. And starting with the new tax rate at $20 per 100,000 of AV. I'll start with the chart. This is simply a graphical representation of some preliminary modeling. A lot of assumptions go behind it. They'll continue to be refined, but hopefully a good starting place for our discussions tonight. As you can see, we assume a new measure will be issued over a 10-year time frame. And the bond authorization, no matter how much we're looking at, the district will not receive them overnight. It's customary to issue them over a few different bond series. And this is the same modeling that we undertook for Measure PCC a couple years ago. And here we have Series A issue in 2027 and every 3 years thereafter in different increments. So under $20 per 100,000 AV of a new tax rate, the authorization amount estimated is $816 million. Same type of layout for the as the previous slide, but here is a new tax rate at $15 per 100,000 of AV. Same timing sequencing assumptions as the prior slide, but with the lower tax rate, you can accept the authorization to be lower as well. So as compared to $816 million, $15 tax rate could generate $610 million.
Okay, so this option, which is the $9 option, is called a tax rate extension. Okay, so what that means is those green bars on the front end, that's your Measure P existing, right? So like we said, she said that doing refunding, final maturity is going to be 2028. So we looked at it and say, okay, well, if we continued that tax going forward at $9 roughly, how much money could the district raise through a new bond measure, right? But it's an extension of the tax, okay? So on this basis, as far as she mentioned that the timing of this series, so there we kept the timing the same, 3 years apart, first issue being 2027 if the issue passes, and then we phased in the bond amounts. And again, this is all fungible, right? This is not etched in stone, but it's because project funding is fungible, right? But also one thing we should explain is the bottom row, which is the repayment ratio, which is, what that really means is for every dollar, so I'll take a year, first year, Series A, the 1.78, what that really means is we're taking debt service, so the total payments over the life of the bond, dividing it by par, and that gives us that number. But what it really means, right, is that for every dollar you're borrowing, you're paying back the dollar plus 78 cents. Okay? So for the entire measure, if you look at the far right column, you're borrowing the dollar and repaying $1.09. Okay? So that's what that means. That's going to be for the next summer, please. I don't know if I can I call it? Okay.
Yeah, I just want to make sure everybody understands that if this particular approach was taken and it worked according to plan, taxpayers would not likely see a difference in their tax liability over the coming years.
Yes, sir, that's correct. So, like I said, we picked $9, right? Because it looked odd, right, to me when we did the intro page. It was a $20 option, $10 option, then a $9 option. Well, in my little pea brain, the next one should be 10. Why is it 10? Well, because it's really $9, and we chose $9 because it's an extension of the existing tax. So yes, sir, if you pass this particular option, or you want this particular option, and it passes, and we sell bonds according to that schedule, the tax rate that taxpayers will see on their bill will be roughly the same that they're seeing now to pay this measure off. Yes, sir. Same as Measure P.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay.
Is there more to the presentation, or?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll save my questions till the end.
Okay. There are no questions on this slide. I'll go ahead and go to the summary slide. So, the summary of the three options we just discussed. The three columns are just like the project presentation that Richard did, right? So your three options. So $20, $15, and $9 raise the amounts. That was it 816, 610 in the box, 816, 610, and 485. Okay, but I'll go from the top row. So the 20, 15, and 9. The third row, and this is an important one, is to tell everyone, hey, that's fine to tell me per $100,000, this is what it is, but what is it to me? Okay, so if you're an average taxpayer in this district, the the value of your home on the county tax roll for an average taxpayer is $655,000. Okay, it says in the footnote at the bottom there. So we take $655,000, divide by 100,000. That's roughly 6.5. Right? You take 6.5 and you multiply it by each individual tax rate for each individual option. So 6.5 times the 20 is $131. 6.5 times the 15 is 98. And then the tax rate extension, which is $9, the number is $59. So for $59, you can get, again, as Trustee Gibson pointed out, continuing that to pay that as a taxpayer, the district can raise $485 million. Right? And then I can go down to through the other rows if you'd like, but ultimately, from my perspective, what's different, right? So third row from the bottom, you have a final payoff for the tax rate extension of 2066 as opposed to 2060 for the other options, just because you're under bigger constraint, right? You're at a lower number, it's going to take you a little longer to pay it off, okay? 6 years in this case. And that's without accounting for refinancings, which are very typical. And then again, the repayment ratios are different. The new tax rates, it's under 2, and the tax rate extension is just over 2. But still very palatable because the state maximum when you issue bonds is 4, right? So we're half that roughly. Right? Any questions on this slide? No? Okay, I'll keep moving. So look, again, more background. Okay, well, if you're considering doing a measure, how do we compare to our peers? Right, so in LA County, right? We tried to stick to mostly, I think pretty much all of them except for LA, are all single college districts, right? So your district has passed 2 measures. One was in 2002, Measure P, and then 20 years later, Measure PCC, for a total authorization of $715 million. And that's authorization. That's not what you've sold. Because out of Measure PCC, you've sold 130, you get $435 million left, authorized, right? But likewise, the colleges of similar size, so Citrus has 2, Rio Hondo has 2, Cerritos and Glendale 3. Then you get it's kind of bigger campuses, if you will. Mount Sacs, $2 billion, Long Beach, $2.5 billion, and Santa Monica, $1.3 billion. And then LA, which is its own entity, but I mean, for their comparison, is 5 and $14.5 billion. But their first one was 2001, and then their last one was 2022. But the last one was, I think, 5.3 billion, I think. So they got quite a bit to go. But anyway, it's just to give them scale to say, hey, are we behind? Are we ahead? Where are we? Like, you want to know, right? You want to know, hey, relative to our peers, should we be doing this? And you can probably make your own judgment from that table. If there's no questions on this, I will move along. Oh, Ms. Chen-Klin, please.
Sure. This is the last slide before we conclude the presentation. Just to share with you, you saw from the earlier slide how PCCs stack up to other CCDs in the county. Here we want to show you, since we've been talking about different tax rates, to share with you fiscal year 2025-26. That's actual tax rates on people's tax bill. For all of the key 14 districts that do have GO bonds outstanding, no matter they have 1, 2, or 5 bond measures like LACCD, this is what everyone's tax rates look like on a per $100,000 level, and PCC is ranked the lowest at $10.70. This is what's currently being levied for both Measure P and Measure PCC, and of course, this number will change as we do refinancing or as we issue new bonds for Measure PCC. Nevertheless, a snapshot in time for the board's reference here. And that concludes our presentation, and we're happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the wonderful presentation. Chairing facilities, I feel like this is the 5th or 6th time I've seen this presentation, and next time I can join you on and give it slide by slide as well. Normally during facilities, I don't speak until the end as the chair, but today, just wanted to start off by 1, thanking you again, and 2, just sharing my initial thoughts on kind of what was presented before us today. I get the balance where we have these unmet facilities needs that I think we need to address if we're going to compete as a community college. That's also balanced with my sensitivity, of course, towards not burdening our constituents and our community members. And from the presentation and the outline of the different options, I think if we went with one of them, I'd personally be in favor of the tax extension. I think it provides a good, sizable amount for us to work with as a district to meet our facilities needs without further burdening, I think, our taxpayers in a time of
inflation, wildfire recovery, and a lot of stuff happening in the world. So I would personally be in favor of that, but of course I want to hear my colleagues' perspectives.
Thank you. Christine?
Thank you, Trustee Liu. I am also in favor and support of the tax extension. I'm very sensitive that in my area, we have some current bonds, and we just recently passed one, and we are in an economic time where there's a lot of uncertainty, and you have to balance it out with the needs of our community as well as the needs of our campus here and the future, planning the future of our campus here, balancing out with the current status of our local economic community. And I think the extension is a good medium, measured, cautious approach.
Thank you.
Thank you. Again, I know y'all know us in and out, in the back of your hands now, and this presentation you guys have dissected many times for us. I concur with my colleagues, certainly, actually. I think that we are in an institution since Measure PCC that in many ways our facilities are playing catch up. If we looked at the comparisons to what I would consider our peer districts, not that all the community colleges in the region are fantastic. I am not singling anybody, but if we look at what Mount SAC has done in their facilities over the last few years, what even SMC has done, what some of these institutions have been able to do because of their bonding, not just capacity, but actual dollars that coming in have made a genuine difference in the experience of the student body. And I think we are on that pathway right now with Measure PCC. But I think also some of the work that we have committed to as a board and as an institution since we passed Measure PCC has shifted, right? We've made a pretty clear, sizable, and critical commitment to serving all areas of our district, for example, to ensure that we are looking at what the future of this campus here physically looks like, and making sure that we are adapting to the fact that we are facing rising costs and rising everything in the context of this work. So I think that especially within this decision and this context of what our historic bonding rate has been, certainly in comparison with countywide. I remember looking at that number for the first time, that we are the lowest out of every K-14 district that has a general obligation bond in the county, was extraordinarily striking to me. I think it does show the careful planning and thinking of this district, not really just the board, but the entire district, the staff and the team, in terms of what it means to serve our communities. And I think also within the context of comparing it to the bonds that have passed for our sister districts, for our partner districts here, the K-12 districts, where those rates that we're looking at, if we looked at that slide, was like 49 per 100,000, 60 per 100,000. And we're talking about a tax extension that's much more measured and much more carefully thought out. And I think over the course of these discussions, include everything from talking about what our priorities are as an institution for facilities to today's conversation, I think has been methodically placed to ensure that we are being fiscally responsible for our residents and our communities on the ground. So I wanted to thank you all, but I certainly wanted to thank Dr. Gomez, Mr. Lorette, and Dr. Clark, your teams, for this kind of thoughtful planning, which I think makes me very comfortable in moving this forward, even in these moments. And so, very long-winded way to say I support the $9 extension, because I think it is a measured path forward for our institution, and allows us to reach the goals that we've already set for ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Questions?
I can concur with my colleagues in regards to the extension.
Thank you. Questions? No further questions. Thank you.
Dr. Gibson, one question. It seems like my colleagues and I are somewhat at consensus, at least was the first option. In terms of direction from our board, what would the next step look like for this?
Taking into consideration your direction, at the next board meeting, we would bring a resolution to consolidate a potential general obligation bond election for PCC for the November 3rd, 2026 election. And so we would submit the resolution, a tax rate statement, along with a project list similar to what we did with Measure PCC, and all of those would be brought to you at the next board meeting for your review. And then if approved to put on the ballot, it would be submitted to the county registrar of voters in time for that August 7th deadline.
Then if it makes sense, I would like to move to do that for the tax extension option, and we can figure out the language.
Do that. I will second that.
Thank you. Thank you. Student trustee?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the
Thank you,
presentation.
thank you, thank you, thank you. Trustee Gibson, I'm sorry, if I may, I think I wanted to thank my colleagues in engaging in this thoughtful discussion over these last few months on this topic, because it's not easy to make such decisions, but I think it's incredibly necessary given the plans that we have, big plans that we have for the facilities of the institution. So I just want to say thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Wong. Concur. Next on our special meeting agenda is Resolution number 903 to order a biannual governing board election, which is required by regulations. So I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second?
Thank you. Any discussion? No? Student trustee?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Passes unanimously. I would entertain a movement to adjourn.
Move to adjourn the special meeting of the board to return to the regular meeting of the board.
Second.
Thank you. Student trustee?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Trustee Gibson, now that we're back to the regular meeting of the board, would you mind if I move for like a 5-minute recess just to take a breath?
Yes.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank
We'll
you.
take a break, 5-minute break.
Wait, you didn't ask for that. You didn't ask for oppositions.
It's okay. I
didn't ask for no
stand up and
votes.
breathe for a second.
Okay, I'm watching the Knicks game. I'm just watching the score.
Oh, is she over there?
Knicks. I love New York.
The regular business meeting of the board will now reconvene. The time is 8:15. Please confirm quorum.
Are we taking roll?
A roll call.
Confirmed. I don't think I have to do roll call, do I? Okay. Trustee Wong,
Here.
Trustee Aragon,
Present.
Trustee Chin Lau, Trustee Silver, Trustee Kwong,
Here?
Trustee Liu,
Here.
Trustee Gibson,
Here.
Student Trustee Vega.
Here.
Thank you. Thank you. We are at J2, authorization for year-end appropriation transfers.
Trustee Gibson, given the more transaction and routine nature of some of these items, I'm going to move to approve items J2, J3, J4. I will actually, sorry, one second. J2, J3, J6, and J7 together. I'm leaving out J4 only because it is a personnel issue that the student trustee can't vote on. So I'm going to make a motion for approval J2, 3, 6, 7.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Student trustee,
Aye.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
So now, Trustee Gibson, if I may, I'll make a motion to approve item J4.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
I do have a discussion on that, so when you're.
Go in discussion. Any discussion?
Anyone? Just quickly, I really appreciate this memo of understanding. I read through it, and I have a question though, Bob or Laura. This MOU, is there a time frame? Is it eventually going to be part of actual contract, or how does that work on that?
This is for our CFT group right now, and it's a year-by-year basis. And we've kept it that way so that when we don't memorialize it forever, and then if we need to change it or increase it, we can do so. So we've kept it very fluid that way.
Okay, great. And I appreciate the flexibility, of the hybrid working. And my concern is always with the student and to make sure that our students have, have in-person opportunities to meet with their faculty. That's probably my biggest concern and what I would always voice on the students' behalf.
And Trustee Aragon, it's only a maximum of 1 day.
Okay.
So it's not very large.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So I'll call for the question on this.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Number 8, J8, resolution number 900, commemorating Immigrant Heritage Month.
So moved?
Yeah, well, I'll just read out the resolve.
Yeah.
That the Board of Trustees hereby recognize June 2026 as Immigrant Heritage Month and encourages programs, events, and resources that appropriately reflect this commitment. Thank you. We have a motion.
I'll second.
Second. Any discussion?
Just again, I had mentioned it in the Latinay Latinay graduation that, regardless of your document status, that this campus supports. And I know this campus does a wonderful job of, doing that, especially with our, immigrants come in all situations, but I just really appreciate this campus and their efforts. Just wanted to make that for the record.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Student trustee?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Resolution 901, celebration of Juneteenth Independence Day. I'll read the resolved lines. Now be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of Pasadena Area Community College District recognizes June 19th, 2026 as Juneteenth Independence Day. Be it further resolved that the Board of Trustees recognizes the historical significance of Juneteenth Independence Day in the United States and to the Black African American community. And be it further resolved that the Board of Trustees supports the continued nationwide celebration of Juneteenth Independence Day to provide an opportunity for the people of the United States to learn more about the past and to better understand the experiences that shape and developed the United States. And be it further resolved that the Board of Trustees calls on all members of our community to come together to celebrate, honor, and educate each other on the past, present, and future of the Black African American community in the United States.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Thank you. Any discussion? Student trustee?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Next. Where are we?
Excuse me.
Approve additions, modifications, and deletions to the credit and non-credit curriculum.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you.
Trustee Gibson, just
Yes.
one point. I think in the very minor thing within this agenda item for the document for student leadership and equity and advocacy and artificial intelligence and machine learning, page 2, I think there's just a computer error that it says it can't parse the program data and the data is invalid. Let's just make sure that if this is a public document for the public and students looking at the programs, that the program outcome is correctly identified.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Thank you. Student trustee?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We come to the superintendent president's report.
Well, it's June. It's our favorite time of the year here at PCC. This is the week, or the weeks leading up to commencement. This is a time filled with joyous celebrations, and there are always lots and lots of stories, story after story of students achieving, overcoming odds, innovating beyond our wildest imagination. These stories are inspiring, uplifting, and they make us all proud. We're not only proud of our students, but we're proud of PCC. This place that we get to be a part of, this great college that nurtures, produces graduates who go on to change the world. There is so much joy and hope here, so much achievement and success. As tough as things can be, this year alone, we have about 4,500 reasons to believe the future will be bright and better. Our graduates are going on to do great things. We are just 2 days away from our 100th commencement. So this pin still works. So it's our 100th commencement. There will be about 1,100 students who are going to walk across the stage and accept their degrees at Robinson Stadium this Friday. Yeah. Altogether, about 4,500 degrees and certificates will be conferred this spring, and that's an increase from last year. Our graduating class this year will be 56% female, 42% male, and our students span the age spectrum. Our oldest graduate is 79-year-old Edwin Hill, who has earned an electronics technology certificate. Mr. Hill teaches us all that it's never, never too late to learn something new. Our youngest graduate is 15 years old. Natalie Krepokian has earned an AA in natural science, reminding us that you're never too young to perceive your dream. 15 to 79, that is a wide, wide, wide gap. At PCC, we're also part of the world, and the world is part of PCC. Our graduating international students represent 34 countries. And our students are headed to great colleges and universities all across California and the country. Colleges like Cal Poly Pomona, UCLA, Occidental, Berkeley, Cal State LA, UC San Diego, and all the UC colleges, Northridge, Long Beach State. We also have students headed to Stanford, Yale, Spelman, USC, Morehouse, Pomona College, and many other private institutions. In fact, EdSource just published an article this week about community colleges and identified PCC as the state's transfer leader again. We produced 2,000, well, let's just say 2,100 to be exact, transfers to the UC and CSU systems alone, more than any other community college in California. During commencement season, we're celebrating our students, but we're also celebrating our faculty and staff who make their success possible. From our facilities team, to the counselors and success coaches, to the faculty, staff, and administrators, as we celebrate our students, we also celebrate and thank you as well. Earlier this month, I was honored to participate in the Above and Beyond Awards right here in this room. I was struck by the outstanding caliber of all the nominees and recipients for these awards. Congratulations again to the recipients of the Above and Beyond Awards and also the RISR Awards. Just want to name these folks because I want them to be recognized here in a board meeting and be part of the record. They include Ashley Mejia, Rebecca Martinez, Cristina Sanchez, Raul Ibanez, Nadia Quiñones, Mary Wall, Kevin Sanford, Tamika Alexander, Brian Kennedy, and Kim Winslow. Let's give them a big round of applause. But we also have other faculty who have received honors recently that I also want to mention. Dr. Jillian L. Blatti, an associate professor of chemistry, has received the Silicon Valley ACS 2026 Teacher Scholar Award. The Silicon Valley American Chemical Society presents the award to recognize excellence in teaching, service, and scholarship by community college educators. Also, Professor Priya Venkatasan, an adjunct assistant professor of nutrition and public health, has been named the California Community College PEKD Health Educator of the Year. She exemplifies excellence in teaching, leadership, and service through an extraordinary record of collaboration, innovation, and equity-centered work. Finally, Martha House has authored a new open educational resource text about the geology of California. The OER provides students with an interactive, immersive tool that supports their learning in geology through up-to-date information on California's climate, earthquake hazards, and water issues. Her work is supported by the Academic Senate of the Community College's Open Education Resources Initiative. I want to make sure that we recognize their work as well. Our outstanding faculty helps distinguish PCC from other colleges. They're part of the reason students pass up other community colleges to attend PCC. On Saturday, May 30th, the college invited new students, their families, and friends to visit the Colorado campus. This year, our staff and faculty showed out in record numbers for FYE Open House. This is our biggest outreach event of the year, and I want to thank our very own Angie Alvarez, who's here today, and her entire outreach team for organizing a wonderful open house. And thank you to all the entities that supported this effort. There were faculty there, there were staff there, there were students there. It was a really amazing program. I've received a lot of feedback from families and students of high school students that are and others that are coming to PCC in the fall about how impressed they were with that event. So it shows why we're doing such a great job here at Pasadena City College. Finally, if you haven't been on campus lately, you may have missed a beautiful new addition to the campus. In Galloway Plaza, there's a very colorful installation. It stands 8 feet tall and 36 feet wide and consists of powder-coated metal letters along with an outlined heart and an etched rose. The installation practically shouts, "I love PCC." I want to thank our Office of Strategic Communications and Marketing and Facilities for bringing the installation to campus and for getting it here right before commencement so that our students and their families can take photos in front of the letters. These two areas, strategic communications and facilities, were also behind another creative and colorful addition to our campus. During our opening for Pride Month, at the end of the celebration, the area around the mirror pools was lit up in the colors of the rainbow, a stunning show of support for the LGBTQIA community. So I want to thank them as well for that creativity. We will also see it again later. Actually, during commencement, we will have PCC's colors, right, Hagop? Yes, okay, good, good. And then later this month during Juneteenth. Our campus will be closed on Friday, June 19th in honor of that holiday, but the mirror pool area will be lit up in red, white, and blue, the colors of the Juneteenth flag. On June 20th, the mirror pool area will be lit in red, gold, and green, representing the strength, beauty, and resilience of the African diaspora. With that, congratulations to our graduates, faculty, and staff, and I look forward to seeing everyone at commencement. Thank you. That completes my report.
Thank you. We'll go to announcements by shared governance representatives and the Board of Trustees. We'll start with the Associated Students.
Hello, everyone. I'm happy to report that our Associated Students have finished up finals and are looking forward to our 2026-2027 AS Board elect to be all sworn in after the spring semester concludes. During our final 2 weeks of the spring semester, our AS VP of Student Services has put on the Relaxation Week programming. We brought goats to our campus to do some goat yoga to ground our students during the most stressful time of the year. We've also brought a gaming truck onto campus to throw some fun into the mix. I'm thankful to have represented the student body for the time I've sat at the Board of Trustees. And I'm looking forward to our successor and successors to continue the legacy of servingness that the Associated Students has brought to Pasadena City College. And I'd like to thank all my advisors, all the people who have supported me throughout this time, and especially Dr. Carrie Fuso. They've done a lot to carry me through this time and to always have an open ear for all the different stressors I've been going through while holding this role. So thank you for all those who have supported me.
Thank you.
If I may really Jai, I just want to say thank you for stepping up this academic year for the student body and taking on a role that I know you originally weren't meant to be doing. And I think through all of that, AS has done some incredible work this academic year, and you have led in these last few months with bringing stability to the leadership. So I just wanted to say, specifically call that out. I know you haven't been on, sitting with us, too many times this past year, but I'm really grateful for the work that you've done. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Classified Senate.
Good evening, Board of Trustees. As the 2024 to 2026 Classified Senate Board prepares to conclude its term on June 30th, we would like to take a moment to reflect on the work accomplished over the past 2 years and express our gratitude to those who have made it possible. When this Classified Senate Board began its term, we established 3 priorities: community, communication, and advocacy. Through the dedication of our board, we have worked to strengthen connections among colleagues, improve communication with our constituents, and advocate for those voices of our classified professionals. Over the last 2 years, we're proud to have established initiatives that will continue to serve our campus, including a Classified Senate newsletter, professional and community building events, and strengthened partnerships with our campus governance groups. We would like to recognize and thank the officers and senators whose terms are commencing. Myself as president, Ryan Perry as vice president, Noelia Franco as secretary, Syria Levette as treasurer, Suzanne Felashine, Christopher Lucas, and Joyce Penny as senators. Thank you for your service, leadership, and commitment to PCC and its classified professionals. As we close one chapter, we're excited to welcome the incoming 2026 to 28 Classified Senate Board. We have Irving Guevara Morales will serve as president, Jamie Portillo will serve as vice president, Natalia DeVries will serve as secretary, and Jennifer Jung will serve as treasurer. We're confident that their leadership will continue to build upon the foundations established by all previous classified boards and further advance the mission of Classified Senate. At this time, we extend our sincere appreciation to the classified professionals who are retiring to new adventures beyond PCC. Your dedication, service, and contributions have left a lasting impact on all of our campus community, and we wish you continued success. Additionally, we warmly welcome our newest classified employees. On behalf of Classified Senate, thank you to the Board of Trustees for your continued support to classified professionals and recognizing the importance of the roles we play and the success we bring to the students and institution. Thank you.
Thank you. Management Association.
Good evening. On behalf of the Management Advisory Council, I'd like to begin by welcoming a new manager, Rowena Chan, who's stepping into an interim supervisor role in the CTE division. Next, I'm proud to introduce our newly elected MAC board for the 26-27 academic year. President Emily Bangham will be continuing. Vice President Carrie Starbird. Treasurer Margarita Regalado Rivera. Secretary is Carla Claustro. Coordinator Marisol Jara Garza. We appreciate all the managers who have stepped up to serve and support shared governance. We continue to support campus-wide engagement efforts, including the recent open house activities and cultural graduations. These events reflect the strong collaboration across departments as managers and staff come together to welcome prospective and graduating students and their families with care and intention. As we look ahead to this Friday's commencement, we want to recognize the extensive coordination and effort that goes into making this milestone event possible. From early planning to the day of execution, many of our managers play critical roles in ensuring a meaningful and seamless experience for our graduates and their families. It is truly a campus-wide effort, and we're proud to support the celebration of student achievement. Before we close, we want to take a moment to recognize and thank all of our colleagues who are retiring this year. Your years of service, leadership, and commitment to our students and institution have helped shape this college in lasting ways. We are deeply grateful for your contributions and wish you all the best in this next chapter. In that same spirit, I'd like to offer a special acknowledgement to Dr. Brock Klein. Brock's leadership and commitment to student success, particularly through initiatives like first-year experience and campus engagement efforts, have left a lasting impact on our college. We thank him for his years of service and wish him all the best in his well-deserved retirement. As always, the Management Advisory Council remains committed to uplifting the work of our managers and supporting the mission of the college through collaboration, leadership, and service. This concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Student trustee, your first report.
I'm very grateful and honored to be here. I'm very grateful to have the opportunity to serve students, and I'm very excited to work with all of you to be able to make campus a really good place.
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome. Trustee Huang.
So last week, Trustee Silver and Trustee Luo and I had the pleasure of representing our respective districts at the commencement for Temple City High School. Once again, it was such a wonderful event, and thank you to the district, and a big thank you to the principal, Elena Lee, for hosting us and inviting us and when we go there, they're such gracious hosts in welcoming us and allowing us to participate with them.
Thank you. Trustee Aragon.
Yes. First off, I want to welcome our new trustee, and I'm just going to say for the, I'll speak for the entire board that please reach out to any of us if you have any questions. There will be some conferences that are coming up that you can, hopefully you can attend according to your schedule, so that there's a lot to learn, but I'm sure you'll be great. The other thing I'll say, I know when we first came on as trustees, we had an orientation, so I'm assuming that will also help in with you. So yes, any questions, please reach out. Thank you so much for serving as our student body president, and I know our incoming president is in the audience. He's been here all night. So I wish you all the best. I look forward to working with you, and all the best. So I want to say Happy Pride, great event that we've had on campus. It was very, not only moving, but it was beautiful. It was nice to have it in the evening, or close to the evening. I just want to say that I attended the UCLA Latino Policy and Politics Institute, and what was wonderful that we had some panelists and some researchers talking specifically of our community, the Eaton fire, the recovery. We had this one individual that spoke on the undocumented workers that were working as part of the recovery, and how they, don't necessarily make the news, and how they're being exposed to so many elements. And I just found that very interesting. And again, hopefully those communities will continue to be served and looked out for. The president of the Altadena Chamber of Commerce was also on that panel, and she spoke of the economic impact and the disaster recovery. So it was very worthwhile for me to go to that institute, especially as they spoke of directly of the impact of the Eaton fires here in our community. I attended the 100 Women Achievers. I want to make sure I said that correct. Thank you for the invitation. It was wonderful to see those individuals be honored. And going down, okay, of course, many of us, we attended, I just wrote it down here, EOPS, the Puente, the Black Grad, the Latine, the OPITA. It's such an honor, and it's just wonderful to attend those events and to see students speak on the impact this campus has had. And I just want to talk about one student in particular. She came up to me, her name is Natalie, and I told her I was going to put her on blast, but she came up and she was very intense, and she was very, she was just intense. And so I was expecting her to have a complaint, but she just spoke to me and she said, I've seen you, and I'm going to see you again. And I, again, like I said, I was just thinking she was going to say something, complaint. But anyway, she said her experience on the campus has been wonderful, the support. She spoke about how she wants to continue, even though she's transferring to Cal State Northridge. She was just a wonderful individual, and I just wanted to make sure that that's what it's about. So, and finally, I just want to say congratulations to all the graduates, those who are, have their high school diploma, their AA, their certificates. Congratulations, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, correct? No, 2 days, Friday. My days go by fast. That's my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Wong.
Thank you. I'm going to first also echo my welcome to Student Trustee Vega. We're really looking forward to working with you. I think it's been really exciting. The student trustees we've had in the last few years have been incredible advocates for the student body, and I have zero doubt that you're also going to join in their leadership and have your own leadership style. And I'm looking forward to working with you, getting to know you a little bit better, and traveling to Sacramento to advocate for our college together and things like that. So welcome, and we look forward to working with you. And I just wanted to take a second also to thank Classified Senate and the Management Advisory Council for the work that you all have done. I know the terms are switching over now, and there will be some, for the Classified Senate, some new folks as well, but I'm grateful for the ongoing work and leadership that you all do in this work for our institution. And I already shouted out AS, but I want to say it again. Thank you. I think our Associated Students has always been a really strong not just voice for students, but strong advocates for our institution and for the work that we do here every day. It doesn't matter if you're advocating here with the board or advocating in Sacramento or DC. It's always been a real pleasure to have and really powerful, actually, to have the student leadership. So thank you all for the work that you all have done. I again, have also attended a number of graduations recently, and I wanted to take a second to thank all of the committees and departments and funds that have went into making all of this possible. I think it's clear how much work goes into all of this, but I think it's also really important that these are such moments of joy and celebration in community in a way that I think is more needed today than perhaps ever before, especially the headwinds that some of our students are facing. And so with that, I've been able to join Black grad, Latina grad, Undocumented grad, our Lavender grad, a Core grad, a PETA grad. I might be missing something. Oh no. I'll think of it in a second. And I also had the pleasure of joining the College Corps graduation of their program and the incredible work that Jackie Sokoto and her team have been doing in growing this program under some of the work of, I know, Ms. Robinson back there, Dr. Gomez, and other folks to really provide opportunities, not just in supporting fire recovery for our communities, but also providing these leadership opportunities for our students. So I just want to congratulate those students as well. And I just wanted to take one quick second, I think, especially as we are in budget season and we are talking about important things that guide the future of our institution, especially in the upcoming fiscal year, that I'm grateful for Dr. Clark and your teams stepping in within a month of you joining our institution to really tackle some of these numbers. And I was sharing with Dr. Clark a little earlier that I'm learning new things now 4 years in and past. This is the fourth budget I'm going to be passing. That I may not have understood before. And I think that clarity from our presentation today was incredibly helpful. And I think it shows, I think today has shown the responsibility that this board has in ensuring that we are spending our dollars the way we are meant to, and also doing it in a way that is thoughtful and thought out. And I think that it is clear from both Ed Code and it's cleared from our responsibility as trustees is that we are looking at the big picture, right? We're looking at these funds in their aggregate. We're looking at the overall areas and where we are investing or not, or pulling forward in, and that is the role that we have. And it is really up to, for the day-to-day operations, Dr. Gomez, Dr. Clark, and the team to really then move dollars around as we need and as see fit. And I think it is incredibly important that part of our institution's philosophy has always been to do whatever we can to provide for our students. And if that means opening sections because students expect classes, that is what we're going to do. If it means that we're going to be offering whatever we can to make sure students can reach their goals, that is what we have done. And I think this budget document does reflect that ongoing commitment. So it's a little bit of a spiel, but I think it was important to say because I think as we move forward in seeing what the final budget looks like from the state, and certainly our own goals and aspirations for this coming fiscal and academic year, that is important context as we look to passing our final budget in September. So, and the last thing that I'll mention is that I had also had the opportunity to attend the groundbreaking of the NoHo to Pasadena Metro Bus Rapid Transit line. It was exciting to see a movement with leaders from across our region to make that project, quite frankly, a reality. And I know I've talked to Dr. Gomez about this and also Metro, but the terminus better be called Pasadena City College because that is where it is and that is what it shall be named. Thank you, and that concludes my report.
Thank you. Trustee Liu.
I still want the final stop to be called Lanza Stop.
Oh my God.
It's just my 2 cents. Happy graduation, everyone. Just echoing what my colleague said to share my appreciation for our outgoing shared governance leaders. Thank you for your leadership on behalf of your colleagues and peers. And also welcome our new shared governance leaders and especially Trustee Vega. Really excited to have you join our board. I know we met a while back when you facilitated a resume workshop for the honors program that I had opportunity to speak at, and really excited to be able to work with you. I know you shared a lot of your priorities about being basic needs, really serving as a voice for your peers. And I'll say, having been a former student government member myself, you can always rely on us as resources, but if you ever have to hold us to the fire because we're not doing something that you think is right for your peers, please, represent your peers as a great student trustee this year. And I know we have a whole year of working together, but I know a year from now will be very sad when you go on and do even brighter things. One last thing, wanted to thank Dr. Gibson for speaking to the Temple City Chamber of Commerce. I also serve on the board for that chamber, and Dr. Gibson came to one of our meetings a couple of days ago and gave a great presentation about PCC's partnership with the city of Temple City. And that partnership apparently extends to their annual Summer Night Bites events, in which you can pay $30 to try multiple Temple City area restaurants. And I've been told if you put in the code PCC student, you get $5 off. So I don't think you actually have to just be a PCC student.
Can we use it?
Yes, I'm pretty sure any PCC community member can use it. But besides that, really excited for graduation on Friday. And that concludes my report.
Thank you so much. I want to also mention the Above and Beyond Awards. It was so impressive to participate in that and see the talent and dedication and performance of the staff at our college, and to be able to pick out a few in the long list of submitted names, because we know that many of our staff perform above and beyond. So that was wonderful to participate with that. And I also enjoyed speaking to the Temple City Chamber. It was great to see you and Trustee Silver there, participating in our local community and making the ties between PCC and our neighboring cities. We can't mention all the award events that have happened and graduations that have happened. I'll just mention a few. I was very impressed at the forensic team showcase. We have, as you know, we have national champions and international champions in our forensics team this year. It was great to attend the Black Grad 2026. That was a wonderful event. And the Latina grad, the Asian Pacific Islander Desi American graduation, and the adult high school graduation. As it was mentioned, it's great, all the effort, all the work that's being done by so many individuals to make these events happen, as well as this coming Friday, all the work that's going into it. So I want to express my appreciation and the board's appreciation for all the work that's being done to make all these graduations successful, and the commencement on Friday a successful event. So thanks to everybody on campus. I want to ask to adjourn tonight's meeting in memory of Jesse Gomez, who was a cross-country runner and coach who passed at the age of 77 last week. He won state cross-country championship while at PCC, the one time in history so far that PCC has won state in cross-country. And after that, he was head coach of PCC's men's track and field from 1994 to 2006. So I'll ask for at the end of our meeting, I'll mention him in adjournment. That concludes my report.
Dr. Gomez, I'm sorry, Dr. Gomez.
It's okay. It's another Dr. G.
Dr. G, can I just say one other thing? Because I wouldn't be able to sleep tonight. I forgot to mention that the Lavender grad, and it was just an honor to ask to speak. But the best part of that, it was a wonderful event, but the best part of that was just dancing and listening to the music. And I haven't danced in months, so I just wanted to make sure they got a shout out because I forgot. Again, we attend all these, wonderful events, and I'm glad we spread out the well. So nice job.
We'll have to schedule more dancing, I guess, as an
Yeah,
official
more dancing.
activity.
During graduation.
Thank you.
Well, you've heard of the BGs. We're the Dr. Gs.
Oh
Or the doctor.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. You and
Well,
Ryan,
if you want to do some disco,
yeah, you and Ryan need to go on the road.
Proposed future board business meeting dates. Proposed future agenda items. Is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
So moved with adjournment in memory of the, okay. Second?
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We will adjourn in memory of Jesse Gomez. Thank you.
Peace.
Here's my number.